So good morning to all of you. Today's lecture is on neurotransmitter and ascending tracts. Up till now, we have learned the first lecture, introduction to nervous system, what are the classification, how to classify the nervous system, what are the different parts of the nervous system. Second lecture, we have synapse, definition of synapse and classification of synapse, like exodendritic. Okay. Then third lecture, we had properties of synapse, different properties of synapse. Okay. And in the previous lecture, we have learned about what is meant by receptor and different properties of receptor. Okay. So don't confuse with the properties of the receptor and properties of the synapse. Like in the properties of synapse, we have one-way conduction, synaptic delay, then fatigue, convergence and divergence, occlusion, synaptic delay, plasticity, subliminal fringe. Okay, so these are the properties of the synapse. While what are the properties of receptor? In the last lecture, we have seen different types of receptor like mechanoreceptor, Merkel dispassion corpuscles. Okay, then free nerve ending. And what are the properties of receptors? Specificity, then intensity discrimination, adaptation, recruitment. These are the properties of the receptor. So you may have a question on the properties of synapse or properties of receptor. So don't confuse with the properties of synapse and receptor. Okay. So in the today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the neurotransmitter and sensory cortex. Okay, or ascending tracts. How the ascending tracts carry the information from the peripheral receptor toward the sensory cortex. So let us see what are the different neurotransmitter. In today's lecture, we are going to discuss about the neurotransmitter, sensory cortex, its functions. What are the different ascending tracts? You may have a long answer question on this. Ascending tracts, dorsal column tracts, and spinothalamic tract. Okay. So let's start with the first neurotransmitter. So just remember the name. You may have a short answer question. Enumerate the neurotransmitter present in our nervous system. So you just remember some names of the neurotransmitter. As you know that in the first in the nerve muscle lecture, we already seen that acetylcholine is one of the neurotransmitter present at the neuromuscular junctions. Okay. So acetylcholine is one of the neurotransmitter, and different amines like norepinephrine, epinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, histamine. Then in amino acids, we have excitatory and inhibitory neurotransmitter. Excitatory is glutamate and aspartate, while inhibitory is glycine and GABA. Okay. So polypeptide, again, we have ADH, oxytocin, GRS, growth hormone releasing hormone, then thyroid releasing hormone, somatostatin, then endorphins and enkephalins. These are the polypeptide neurotransmitters. Purines like adenosine triphosphate, and gases like nitric oxide. Okay. So just remember the few names of the neurotransmitter. You may have a short answer question on this. That is, enumerate the neurotransmitter. Moving towards the sensory cortex. You know that once the information is arising from, suppose for example, pain sensation, touch sensation, crude touch sensation, vibration sensation, temperature sensation, this information is arising from different receptors present over the skin. In the last lecture, we have seen what are the different kinds of receptor. So from that receptor, the information carry via different neurons, information carry via different tracts, and this information via the spinal cord, they enter into the brain. That area is called as sensory cortex. Okay. So area of cerebral cortex responsible for processing sensory information, that is called a somatosensory cortex. And this area is mainly present in the parietal lobe. Okay. But in the frontal lobe, the area is concerned with the mainly motor system, motor cortex. Okay. While the parietal lobe is present just behind the central circles, it is mainly deal with the sensory cortex, in which the various sensory information get processed. Okay. That is called as somatosensory cortex. So it mainly have three components: primary somatosensory area number, the Brodmann's area number 1 and 2, somatosensory association area, different kinds of association like area number 5, area number 7, and different other areas like visual areas, speech area. Okay, so that we are going to see in the upcoming slides. So as you can see that these are central circles. Just behind the central circles, you have area number 3, 1, 2, broadmost area number 3, 1, 2, that is primary somatosensory area. Then area number 5, 7, these are the somatosensory association area. And also we have visual area, that is present in the occipital lobe in the primary visual cortex, and visual association area number 17, 18, 19. Then you have hearing, that is auditory association area number 22, and area number 41 and 42. Okay. So these are the different areas. You may have a MCQ on this, that is 312. These are the area of primary somatosensory cortex. Okay. Somatosensory association area, these are area number 5 and 7. Other area, there is Wernicke's area, speech area. Then you have vision area, hearing area. These are the different Brodmann's area. Okay. While here, the frontal lobe, they are mainly deal with the motor cortex. Okay. So that we are going to see in the motor system descending tracts. Okay. So just focus on the sensory cortex. That means whatever the sensory information coming from the receptor via the spinal cord, via the ascending tracts, they get processed in this particular sensory cortical area. Okay, that is called as somatosensory cortex, primary or somatosensory. Okay. So again, you can see that area number 312, primary somatosensory area number 5 and 7, visual area. Now, what is meant by topographical representation on the brain? Okay, it is nothing but the different parts of the body, they get represented. Or now this is a brain part section of the brain. Different parts of our body are represented over the different specific part of the brain. Okay, now you can see that the legs are represented over this particular part of the brain. Okay, then thigh or trunk region. Then you have shoulder, elbow, forearm, up to the tongue, lips, mouth. Okay, so this is the way how our body get represented over the brain part. Okay, that is called as topographical representation. What is meaning of this? What is the importance of this thing? Suppose if there is a damage to this particular part of the brain, so which particular part get affected? That means the foot, toes, legs, hip. Okay, so that particular artery or that particular part of the brain get damaged. So depending on which part get damaged, they may affect that particular specific part of our body, either sensory or motor. Okay, so this is called as topographical representation. That is representation of different parts of body or the brain. Okay, that is called as topographical representation. Now, what are the functions of this sensory cortex? The area number 312, they are mainly deal with the primary, that is called as primary sensory cortex, perception. First area to be received, that signal received at that particular area number 312. Okay, that is perception of sensory sensation. And processing, once that signals arising at that particular area number 312, they get processed in the area number 5. That's why it is called as somatosensory association area. Okay, area number 7 is for the visual sensory information processing. Area number 39 is for sensory speech centers processing. Okay, so these are the main function of our primary somatosensory area and the association somatosensory area. Okay, now moving toward the sensory tracts or ascending tracts. Now you have long answer question on this. That means enumerate the different ascending tracts and write down in detail about the spinothalamic tracts, or you may have a dorsal column pathway. We are going to see what is meant by dorsal column pathway and the spinothalamic tracts. So what is the function of these ascending tracts? They carry the sensory information from the different receptor like mechanoreceptor, pain receptor, temperature receptor. Via the different peripheral nerves of the spinal cord, they enter into the spinal cord and via the dorsal root or sensory root. Okay, and they enter into the brain, that means the sensory cortex area. So these are the different dermatomes. What do you mean by dermatomes? They are nothing but the part of the skin supplied by that particular peripheral nerves. Okay, so that is called as dermatome. Like for example, this particular area you may have a dermatome like C4, C5, C6. Okay, that means spinal cord from C5, C6 is supplied to that particular part area. Okay, so depending on that, which spinal nerve, it may have L4, L5 like in the lower limb area, L4, L5, S1 area in the sole area. Okay, L2, L3, L4 around thigh area, So which spinal cord, which spinal nerve they supply to the particular skin area, that particular skin area is called as dermatome. Okay, and why this particular skin area is from the receptor, this peripheral nerve send the information to the spine via the spinal cord to the brain. Okay. Now to understand the ascending tracts or descending tracts, you should know the different components of the spinal cord. Okay. In the introduction to CNS, you have already learned this. What are the different components of the spinal cord? So you assume that this is a transverse section or horizontal section of the spinal cord. This is a posterior area. Okay. And this is a anterior area. The central one is gray matter. This is a central canal. And outside the gray matter, we have white matter. Okay. Now, what are the components of this gray matter? You have, this is posterior area. That means it is called as dorsal root or posterior root. Okay. This is a sensory horn. This is a mixed nerve. This is skin area. Okay. So sensory information is enter into the spinal cord via this sensory horn and dorsal root ganglion. Okay. Also called a dorsal horn or sensory horn. While motor information is enter into this via the ventral horn or motor horn and into the muscle, okay, or effector organ. Now we are focusing on the sensory tracts. So sensory information from the receptor is enter into this sensory neuron, dorsal root ganglion. Then via this they enter into this particular sensory components. Okay. Again, the same thing. The afferent sensory information via the dorsal root ganglion, they enter into the dorsal horn or sensory horn. Now this gray matter, they are having different components that is called as lamina. Okay. So what are different lamina? There are 10 lamina are there. So on both sides, on this side also on this side, there are 10 laminas are there. Lamina 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and central canal having 10. Okay. So what is the importance of this lamina? The sensory information. Now, for example, lamina number 1, 2, 3, 4, they are mainly concerned with the sensory information. Sensory information, this is the posterior part. Okay, so that means it is sensory component, sensory information. So from the sensory information from the receptor, they enter into this particular lamina 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And for this 7, 8, 9, 10, 7, 8, 9, they are mainly deal with the motor system that we are going to see in the motor system. We just focus on this lamina 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what are the different names of this lamina? That is nothing but lamina 1 is called as marginal zone. Lamina 2 is called as substantia gelatinosa. Lamina 3 is called as nucleus proprius. Lamina 4 is called as dorsal nucleus of Clark. Okay. So this is about different lamina and different names. Okay. So for the sensory system, we are mainly deal with the marginal zone, substantia gelatinosa, nucleus proprius. Okay. Now, what are the different ascending tracts? Whenever the question comes on ascending tracts, you should write that answer ascending tracts in the form of first order. There are three components: first order neuron, second order neuron, and the third order neuron. Now, what do you mean by first order neuron? It starts from the different receptors. You know what are the different receptors? From the receptor, then via the peripheral nerves, just we have seen what is peripheral nerves, to the dorsal spinal cord or to the dorsal root ganglion or sensory horn. Up to this, it is called as first order neuron. Okay. Second order neuron, it starts from the nucleus of medulla, or it can be in case of dorsal column pathway. Second order neuron start from the medulla, while in case of spinal thalamic tracts, it starts from the dorsal in the gray matter of the spinal cord itself. Okay, that we are going to see in the spinal thalamic tracts. Just remember that second order neuron from the dorsal column pathway is from the medulla, while the second order neuron in case of spinal thalamic tracts is for the in the gray matter in the spinal cord itself. Okay. Third order neuron starts from the thalamus. In case of dorsal column pathway, it starts from the thalamus and terminate in the sensory cortex. Okay. So try to understand this. What is meant by first order neuron? You have to write in the form of answer in the form of first order neuron, second order neuron, the third order neuron. The first order neuron start from the receptor to the dorsal that is sensory horn or dorsal horn. Second order neuron start from the dorsal horn, that is the start from the nucleus of the medulla to the thalamus, and third order neuron start from the thalamus to the sensory cortex. So these are the three levels of the ascending tracts: first order neuron, second order neuron, and the third order neuron. Now, before going to see exactly what is the pathway for the different tracts, we will see what are the different classification of the ascending tracts. Okay, ascending means the information carry from that sensory receptor toward the brain. In the ascending, that's what is called as ascending tracts. Okay. So first is dorsocolumn tracts. We have two components. There is tract of Gall and tract of Burdock. These are the name of the scientists. Spinothalamic tracts. Again, we have two components: lateral spinothalamic tract and anterior spinothalamic tract. Spinocerebellar. Spinocerebellar means cerebellum. Spinal cord to the cerebellum. Okay. Spinal cord to the thalamus. So ventral and dorsal spinal column. You have two components again. So question: when enumerate the ascending tracts. Short answer question. We have to write this classification of the ascending tracts. The long answer question: enumerate the ascending tracts and write down in detail about the dorsocolumn tracts, or write down in detail about the spinothalamic tracts. That we are going to see in the consecutive slides. Okay, so you can see that again. This is the transverse section of the spinal cord. This is a white matter. This is a posterior side. This is a posterior side, and this is a anterior side. Now we are focusing on this particular posterior side, that is dorsocolumn. Now this SLTC is nothing but the whenever the information coming from the sacral vertebra, sacral spinal nerves, the information is present in this particular area, middle side. Lumbar vertebra, the spinal cord from the lumbar vertebra, the information is stored in this in this area. The information from the thoracic spinal nerve, they are present on this particular area. Information from the cervical vertebra spinal nerve, they are present on this particular area. What is information important of this thing? By knowing this, you can say that suppose there is a damage to this particular area, the spinal cord or white matter. Okay, so that means which area of the skin is affected or body is affected. The nerves, the sacral nerves, which supply that particular area, thigh area. Okay, that particular area get affected. Lumbar vertebra, thoracic vertebra. Okay, so if there is a damage to this particular area, that means the thoracic spinal nerves, like abdominal area, thoracic area, this particular area get affected. Sensory information from this particular area get affected. Okay. Now it is also called as nucleus tracts of fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus. Why? Because the nuclei present in the medulla, the tracts enter into the medulla, the nuclei that is called as gracilis nucleus and cuneatus nucleus. Okay. So this is spinothalamic tracts, temperature tracts. So tract of Gall and Burdock. So let's see what are the different components. It contains the large myelinated nerve fibers, which are helpful for fast transmission. More the diameter, more is the transmission. It is helpful for fast transmission of the information, sensory information. And which information they carry? They carry the fine touch, like cotton whisk. Okay, we just subject for with the cotton subject can feel that particular sensation, that is called fine touch sensation. Vibration sensation, with the help of tuning fork we can check the vibration sensation. Position, the movement of the limbs the patient can feel, that's called as proprioception. Pressure sensation. Stereognosis, to find the familiar objects with the closed eyes. 2-point discrimination, to distinguish between the 2 point. Again, we have the practical hours, we have separate practical for this, how to find out the different sensation, how to check the different sensation, sensory sensation. Okay, so this is about the dorsocolumn tract. Now you have to write answer in the form of 3, that is first order neuron, second order neuron, and the third order neuron. The first order neuron for the dorsocolumn pathway or tract of Gall and Burdock start from the receptors. Okay, but there are various sensory receptors. Okay, which receptor? The receptor for touch, vibration. Now, what are the receptor for the touch? As you know that Pacinian corpuscle, Merkel's disc. Okay, these are the receptor for the touch sensation. Okay, so these carry the information from that particular receptor, sensory receptor, touch receptor. Okay, and travel via the peripheral nerves to the dorsocolumn of the spinal cord. Ascend upwards from the dorsocolumn of the spinal cord. Remember that is the dorsal column of the spinal cord. Okay, now you know what is mean dorsal column, that is white column. Okay, outside the gray matter. The sacral and lumbar fibers, they are present, that is called as tract of Gall and Burdock. That means sacral fibers. These are the sacral and lumbar fiber. This fiber is called as tract of Gall. Well, fibers from the thoracic region spinal nerve and the cervical spinal nerve, they are called as Burdock, tract of Burdock. So tract of Gall and body duct is sacral and lumbar, that is thoracic and cervical, they are called as tract of body duct. Now fibers from the ascend in the dorsal column of the spinal cord and enter into the medulla. Now which part of the medulla, that is called as nucleus gracilis and nucleus cuneatus. Okay, so that from this nuclei the second order neuron gets start. Okay, so first order neuron for the dorsal column pathway is from the receptor, sensory receptor, touch receptor, from the receptor up to the medulla. This is called as first order neuron. While second order neuron starts from this nuclei of the medulla. Which nuclei? Nucleus gracilis and nucleus cuneatus. Okay, so from that second order neuron, nucleus get, now remember this thing, from the nuclei of the gracilis and cuneatus, they get cross to the opposite side. Suppose that right side of the sensory information is carried by the particular ascending tracts. In the medulla, they get cross to the left side. Okay, from the for the right ascending tracts. While left ascending tracts for the dorsal column pathway, left dorsal column pathway, they get cross in the medulla towards the right side. Okay, and then ascends into the middle lemniscus of the thalamus. Reach the which, now there are different nucleus of the thalamus that again we are going to see in the different in the thalamus lecture. So one of the nuclei is called as ventral posterior nucleus. Okay, so once in the medulla, the dorsal column pathway get cross, they enter into the ventral posterior nucleus of thalamus. So for example, suppose there is a right ventral posterior nucleus of thalamus, which sensation are there? They are present, that is a left-sided sensation. Okay, while the left ventral posterior nucleus, they present the right dorsal column pathway sensation. Now from here, that means ventral posterior nucleus of thalamus, third order neuron gets starts. Okay, so third order neuron then get projects into the cerebral cortex, that is a sensory cortex. Okay, so that is called as dorsal column pathway, or also called as medial lemniscus system. That is present on the middle side of the spinal cord. That is medial lemniscus of the thalamus. Okay, so medial lemniscus system. So you have to also draw the diagram of the ascending dorsal column pathway. So you can see that the red one is called as first order neuron from the receptor. You can see this is the spinal cord and this is the medulla. This is the medulla. This is a different spinal cord. This is thoracic, lumbar, sacral vertebra. This is the medulla oblongata. Then this is the thalamus. And this is the sensory cortex. Now you can see that from this side, suppose this is the right side and this is the left side. Okay, so from the right side, information from the receptor, upper limb and lower limb receptors, that is touch sensation, dorsal column pathway, they are carry the touch sensation, fine touch sensation, vibration, position sensation, proprioception, stereognosis. Okay, so from this receptor, they enter into the spinal cord, dorsal column. Okay, dorsal horn, dorsal root ganglion. From here, they up. Now, which is the first order neuron? This red one is first order neuron. So what is the landmarks for the first order neuron? Receptor, skin receptor for the touch. They enter into spinal cord and up to the nucleus of medulla, that is a gracilis and cuneatus. Up to this called as first order neuron. What is the important things is for dorsal column pathway, from the nucleus of gracilis and cuneatus. Gracilis is for sacral and lumbar, okay, tract of Gall, and cuneatus is for thoracic and cervical vertebra. Okay, the information from the thoracic and cervical spinal nerves. So important thing is that from that nuclei, they get cross to the opposite side. So right sided sensation, dorsal column sensation, they get cross in the left side in the medulla, and then they enter into the ventral posterior nucleus of thalamus of left side. Okay, so right sided information, they get enter into the left side of the thalamus, while the left sided information, they get enter into the ventral posterior nucleus of the right side. Okay, now from the ventral posterior up to this is called as second order neuron, nucleus to the thalamus. Okay, from the ventral posterior nucleus of thalamus to the sensory cortex, mainly the area number 312, primary somatosensory cortex area, that is called as third order neuron. So these are the main three components. We have to also draw the diagram in the exam. First order neuron up to the nucleus of gracilis and cuneatus. Second order neurons cross to the ventral portion nucleus of the thalamus, and from the ventral portion nucleus of thalamus to the sensory cortex, primary and the somatosensory cortex association area, that is called as third order neuron. Okay, so this is about the dorsal column pathway. There are different names, so you have to remember that name also. Okay, so either the question can be a dorsal column pathway, question can be a tract of nucleus of gracilis and cuneatus, that is fasciculus gracilis and cuneatus, or question can be a write down the tract which carry the information of fine touch, pressure sensation, stereognosis. So you should know that which tract carry this sensation. That is a tract of gall or burdock or dorsal column pathway, okay, or middle lemniscus system. So these are the different names for the dorsal column pathway. So whenever the question comes, you should know that different names of that particular dorsal column pathway or ascending tracts which carry the fine touch and pressure sensation. Again, with the different diagram, you can see that dorsal root ganglion. Okay, so this is the first order neuron in the medulla, nucleus gracilis and cuneatus. They get cross. Second order neuron start in the thalamus. Third order neuron start and then up to the cerebral cortex, sensory cortex. Okay, so this is about the ascending tracts: dorsal column pathway, tract of gall and burdock, medial lemniscus system. These are the different name, nothing but the one and the same. Okay. Again, with another diagram, simple diagram, you can see that. So this is about the dorsal column touch sensation. Don't concentrate on this pain and temperature sensation. We will see in the spinothalamic tracts. Just concentrate on the touch sensation. Okay, dorsal column pathway. This is a dorsal column pathway. Fine touch sensation. Okay, fine touch. First order neuron up to the medulla, second order neuron, and the third order neuron. So this is about the dorsal column pathway. Okay. Now, what are the functions of dorsal column pathway? So these are the different area. That is topographical representation. You can see that how the brain represented by different our different body parts represented over the brain: thigh area, thorax, neck, shoulder, hand. Okay. So this is a topograph. This is called as topographical representation. In Viva they will ask what is topographical representation. So sensation carried by this dorsal column pathway are fine touch, then stereognosis to identify the familiar objects. Okay, with closed eyes, then vibration for perception, that is movement of the limbs and joints. These are the sensation carried by the dorsal column pathway, tract of gall and burdock, middle lemniscus system. Okay, so what happens if there's a damage to the dorsal column tract? Now, damage may be at the first order neuron, damage may be at the second order neuron, damage may be at the third order neuron. Now, what happens if there is a damage at the second order neuron? That means suppose there is a damage to the left side second order neuron. So that means which sensation they lost, which side sensation there is a loss, that is a right opposite side. Okay, so if there's a damage on the first order neuron, that means there is same side sensation is lost. If there's a damage to the second order neuron, opposite side sensation is lost. Damage to the third order neuron, again opposite side sensation is lost. And that's why whether crossing takes place in the medulla or spinal cord, this thing is very important. Okay, so if there is in the dorsal column pathway, if there is a damage to the first order neuron, that means same side sensation is lost. If there is a damage to the second order neuron, sensation of opposite side is lost. Okay, while damage to the third order neuron, sensation of the opposite side gets lost. Okay, so this is the applied part, that is damage to the dorsal. And what are the main cause? Mainly the vitamin B12 deficiency and the tabes dorsalis, which is a complication of the syphilis. These are the main cause of dorsal column pathway. And the patient comes with the different symptoms like the loss of proprioceptions, loss of fine touch sensation. Okay, if the lesions occur in the spinal cord, the sensory loss will be in the ipsilateral, same side. Okay, same side. First order neuron rahega to it is the same side. Agar second order neuron or third order neuron rahega, that is above the medulla. If the lesion is above the medulla, that means it causes the loss of sensation of opposite side. Which sensation? That means fine touch, pressure sensation, stereognosis, and proprioception. Okay, so these are the different sensation. Now, in the next lecture, we are going to see about the spinothalamic tract. Okay, so to understand the spinothalamic tract, read out the components of the gray matter, that is lamina, different lamina, and just summarize your today's lecture. That is nothing but the dorsal column pathway. Okay, thank you.